Looking back at it now, I believe my biggest mistake from making this short film was that I was thinking that I was faster than reality. I honestly believed I could finish editing a short film in one night. And I had over 2 hours of footage. So this video will just be me saying my mistakes that I've made in my short film, my lessons learned, what I would do differently now, and just highlighting aspects of my film production. My short film is called Remnera. It's about a photography student in college who finds a camera that is magical, and when he takes a picture, he goes back to the past for 27 seconds. If you want to watch my short film, you can see it on my channel right now. It's called Remnera, once again. So to go back to that story of how I was being so cocky and overconfident, I didn't finish shooting every scene of the script, I only shot what I could, and I was running out of time. But that's besides the point. I had finished shooting the film. I had felt some sense of relief, I'm ready to edit. And later that day, when I was looking over scenes that I had finished shooting, I wanted to bring back the actors to the studio because I wanted to do voiceovers, and some of the scenes that we had shot, the audio quality was not very good, and so I had brought them into the studio to record the voices. Since I knew that I didn't finish shooting the whole script, I was trying to be creative in the sense of, okay, since I don't have the script fully done, I can just put voiceovers and stuff. Yeah, so after the recording was finished, and now I was set to edit the film. I believe it was the next day that the premiere was gonna be. So I posted around campus about the private premiere, I was mostly wanting to have the actors see the film because it was the last couple of weeks of school in May here in America. So I really wanted them to see the film before they had to leave for the summer. I was planning to edit that afternoon. I had begun editing the film, and I was like, okay, this is a lot. Because this is my first time editing a film, And trying to edit something that's footage is over 2 hours, at the time, I wasn't really thinking that I had to pick out the best takes. I had to assemble the rough cut, and I had to find audio, find music, do color grading, overlay assets, as in text, fonts, all of that. And because I wanted to do the premiere at around 8 o'clock, and I was already failing. I couldn't see that I could finish editing this film. And with me, I also had my assistant director, and he's very good at color grading, We were just discussing of what ways we could finish the film, and that I could do a more refined cut later on. But with running out of time, I was just giving up near the end of editing this film that night. People were already waiting to see the film in the auditorium in a different building. And my two friends that helped me make the film, my assistant director and the production assistant, one of them already left, to set up people, make sure that being taken care of and seating and stuff like that. And he was calling me saying, hey man, you're 30 minutes late, I was like, oh shit, really? Because I was not paying attention at the time. I was just too in the zone of editing the film. I was like, fuck. Yeah, I got technical issues. Premiere crashed, and it actually did crash, And I was like, oh my goodness, this is the worst day of my life, in a long time. And my assistant director left, to reassure them, hey, yeah, he's almost done, stuff like that. And yeah, in retrospect, after that whole night finished, I was told that my assistant director was panicking, he was jumping around and stuff like that. That was pretty funny that I heard of. But yeah, so I was like, fuck, I gotta premiere this. I told him, hey, in 15 minutes, I'll be out. I can get it done. So they were waiting and stuff like that, and like I was just doing anything, that's resembles a rough cut, and I was like, okay, I cannot do a rough cut. So in 10 minutes, I had just made a very rough cut of the opening scene, of the opening act of the film, and that's all that I showed in the premiere. And then I took out my SSD, I took out my laptop, I drove the golf cart to the auditorium, and then I came into there, and then like everyone's faces was like, they were not pleased as to me coming late. But I played the movie, and oh boy, the cut was so horrible. Like, that was embarrassing, honestly, to show them that was a very bad impression on my actors and their friends and crew members. That was very bad, and I felt sorry for showing them such a awful cut of the film. That moment, I believe that I could not be a director or continue to make films. And I had heard the advice of people saying that your first movie or your first project, it's not going to be great. But that just felt very humiliating, that I was showing them such a cut that was very horrible. Yeah, it's one thing that the film was not finished in terms of me shooting every scene that was on the script, but I showed him such a bad cut. So we were talking amongst me, the assistant director, and the producer after the screening, and I told them, hey, what were their reactions like? And it wasn't very good. The main actor wasn't pleased, and like I knew, because that cut was so bad. I wish I could show you how it turned out, but that rough cut, initial cut of the film is lost because I maybe have accidentally deleted the file, but I don't have the file anymore, so I don't know where it went. So a lesson learned from this story of mine is that I wish I had started in a much smaller scale and in a more reasonable deadline. But I'm a strong believer that failure is always the opportunity to learn. Because on my next short film, I would not be doing these mistakes. I will not be, I know what editing is now. And I have made a better edit of the film. Like, I know what it is. I've been through it now. I didn't give up after that night because I really wanted to redeem myself. I was like, no, this cannot be. I cannot be remembered as a person or director who showed a bad cut to these actors. And yeah, I couldn't let that slide. And I continue editing the film. I finished the film. It took me 1 month to edit the film. 1 whole month. So, like, now I know what it is like in terms of editing a short film, directing actors. And so I'm happy that I've went through the failure of actually doing it. And it's way more valuable than just like learning and watching videos online. Because that was me, before I started making my short film. It took me so long to make my film. It was years of like fantasizing about it, thinking about it, and never actually doing it. I was always watch director interviews, read about directors, learn about filmmaking, but I never implemented it. And it took me so long to come to that point to actually make my short film. So I hope that you start making things in your life. If you want to be a filmmaker or artist, you really gotta start just doing it. Your best teacher is action. Action is the best teacher you could ever have. I believe right now, because you will learn so much, and it's a valuable experience to me, even having this opportunity to make a film. I'm very grateful for the actors who agreed to be on my film, and I'm very grateful for the crew members who participated. But yeah, the advice I'll give is just start small. I will personally start as making a short film 1 hour for every day for 1 week. And by the end of the week, you would have 7 short films completed. And then that momentum can carry you on to having one project for 1 week, where you do one project for 1 week. For example, Monday could be planning, Tuesday could be writing, so on and so forth. And after you have finished making a short film in 1 week, then you can do more stuff like that. But just starting for 1 hour, timing yourself for 1 hour making a film will force you into limiting yourself. Limitations often give opportunity for things that you wouldn't have thought of, and that might have been better than your original ideas and intentions. So limitation is actually great for artists to have on themselves, in terms of the time it takes to create a film, in terms of trying to expand your tastes, and just working with what you have right now, with whatever you have. So there's just no excuse to not start creating right now. And this is an advice, and more stories like this is in my ebook called Break the Block, that I have stories of mine and lessons that I've learned from making all sorts of projects in film, art, and comics. If you're interested in my ebook, link is in the description, so you can go check it out for when it comes out. Just join the waitlist down below, or it may have been out already and you can just get it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good one.